You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's up, guys? Well, welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton, here, hanging out with you guys for another fun and exciting episode. Today, we've got none other than the man, the myth, the legend. We got Brian Shain from Top Notch Lawn Care. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How about you?
I'm good, bro. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the podcast, Brian Shain, dude.
Yeah, man. We've been trying to get this together for a while, haven't we?
I reached out to you in the winter, and I said, hey, dude, I'm putting together like a dream team. Like, you know, we always try to make a list of like the top people we want to interview, and I was like, man, I want to get Top Notch on there. He was like the guy I grew up watching on YouTube. It was Blake and Brian, and so now, you know, it's been 6-7 months, but dude, you know, I don't think the world's the same that it was just 6-7 months ago, right? So we've been dealing with a little bit of everything, right? So
that's for dang sure. So when I tell people I'm busy, can you kind of reassure that that's the truth?
Straight up, bro. And you're a family man. You got 3 kids, right? So
yeah, man. Yeah, people with kids know, man. It's never. You don't get any more slim. You can just kiss that goodbye.
Amen. Well, Liz and I, you know, it's just us right now. And so when like friends are like, hey, dude, you guys want to hang out tonight? I'm like, yeah, dude. Okay, we'll come on over at 8, you know? And, or we have some friends that are coming over tomorrow. They're like, hey, dude, what time tomorrow? I'm like, anytime after 5, I'm home, bro, you know? And they're like, they're trying to make an appointment, you know? And cause they got kids. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
But it's funny, if you have kids, you got to book that stuff out 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So
that's just the way it is, man. That's the way it is.
No, dude, I love it. Well, no, we're going to talk about YouTube. We're going to talk about your business. You've had a small business, then you had a big business. You've had a medium size, but I feel like it's funny. I feel like you've kind of done it all, to be honest. And you came out of the gate swinging too. You had a really high grossing revenue business. And so again, I'm a big Top Notch fan. Like I've watched your YouTube videos for years. A lot of these guys listening on the show, I know that they've grown up watching, you know, Top Notch Lawn Care on YouTube, bro. And so I kind of consider you like an OG, you know, in the lawn care community, if you will, on YouTube. So it's going to be really cool to hear your story. So why don't we just get people up to speed really quick, just so they, you know, maybe in a minute or less, let people know where you're at today and what you got going on, and maybe just fill in some of the blanks that I missed.
Sure. Yeah. Basically what we're doing now, we've downsized the business the last couple of years. It's been one of the better decisions I've ever made. And we're doing lawn care, we're doing some landscaping, and we've got into the irrigation. So
okay,
just trying to kind of add more services to the business, and just kind of, you know, take it however it goes. And you know, it's worked out really well so far for the last couple of years. And I just don't. This is what I enjoy. The big business part, I didn't really, you know, just a lot of headaches, a lot of babysitting. The small business, I really like, you know, just having one employee, you know, me and him in the truck. That's it. Let's go get it done. And I'm really enjoying that part of it.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Well, I know you've streamlined the business the last 18 months, which, like you were just saying, I know it's made your life a lot happier, you know, and that's what I'm all about. So, well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We're going to hear from our show sponsors, and then we're going to get right on into your story.
At Exmark, we've poured decades of leading-edge engineering and old-fashioned work ethic into our Laser Z, the pioneering commercial zero-turn rider more landscape pros trust. So now you can experience cut quality, performance, comfort, durability, and reliability beyond your wildest dreams. Stop by your local dealer or visit exmark.com to experience an Exmark Laser Z and the attractive financing offers available now.
You just never know who's going to show up on Fullerton Unfiltered. Hi, it's Mr. Producer, and just like Brian, I'm a huge fan of Exmark mowers. In fact, if you check out his Instagram, you'll see that these are the mowers that Brian uses, and in fact, there's quite a few posts that just show him having fun on them, and of course, getting the job done right. So visit Brian's Lawn Maintenance on IG and exmark.com on the web. Thank you, Exmark, for sponsoring today's show. And now, back to the podcast.
Awesome, guys. All right, well, cool deal. We'll always appreciate those guys supporting the show. So, Brian, let's break down your story and kind of open up this whole Pandora's box, if you will, of your business, your YouTube. I feel like the lines kind of blur for you. You know, they're kind of one and the same, and I think that was kind of by design for you when you were getting started doing your YouTube channel. So let's take it back a little bit, though. Not a lot of people know this. In fact, I didn't even know for the first couple years I was watching, and I don't know how I missed it, but you ran the lawn and landscape company during the day on your days off and then nights and weekends, but you still have a quote unquote like a 9 to 5. Like you still have a job that you still take care of, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? Is that right?
I do. Yes. Yes, I do. So I work for Cessna Aircraft. I work at the service center. I've been out there for 22 years, I think it is.
Wow.
And it's just one of those things that, it's just a hard job to get rid of. I mean, like I said, I've been out there forever.
Yeah.
Kind of invested. I got retirement. I got all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had big plans of, quitting that job, doing the business full time, that type of stuff. And, I kind of like what I'm doing now. That's another reason why I scaled back the business is so, I wasn't so strung out everywhere. But yeah, I do. I mean, like I said, I really like that job. It's a really good job. And, I'm pretty secure out there, even this, the time that we're living in now.
Mm-hmm.
Aircraft is pretty, there's layoffs, there's all kinds of stuff going on, but I'm pretty secure just because I've been out there for so long, and just having that extra security, allowing me to make mistakes in my business, and not really affecting my family, has really helped me learn a lot of different things and get better at running my business.
Dude, absolutely. Well, I know that, again, not everybody knew that. So you're running this, your first year in business, you were doing a couple $100,000 a year, like boom, right out of the gate. And I'm like, dude, doing like a business that size and not being able to commit to it full time, I mean, like mentally and physically, it's just like an incredible feat. Like I don't know how to like gloss it over. Like I'm like, dude, we do a couple $100,000 and I'm all in, and it's a big commitment. And so what got you started in the industry though? Was this like a way to supplement back in the day? Because I thought your first year or two in business, you were like right out of the gate crushing it with a couple $100,000 a year in revenue.
Yeah. So just real quick, my oldest son, he's 20 now. He'll be 21 here in September. Tyler. Yeah, Tyler. He's been in a lot of my videos.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people know that he was, he's born autistic.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did as a family, my wife stayed home with him, and I just worked 2 jobs, to kind of make ends meet.
Okay.
And my part-time job was on a mow crew for a company.
Oh, okay.
That took care of, they had, at that time, they had about 200 rentals, and they just had their own in-house mow crew that mowed all their rentals.
Okay.
And so, 1 year turns into 5 years, turns into 10 years. And, I'm just doing this part-time. Like I said, 25, maybe 30 hours a week while doing my other job. And then one day, I get a little older and maybe a little wiser, maybe a little dumber. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. I decide, I'm like, well, why am I doing this part-time for these people? Why don't I just start my own business and do it, part-time?
Okay.
And that's literally how I started. I mean, one day I was just like, you know what? I'm working here, it's a good job. I get to mow and all that. I learned a lot, but I'm making $13 an hour.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, why don't I go pick up, X amount of properties and I can make that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And do that. So that's literally how I decided to start my business. That's it.
How long ago was that? Was that like 5-6 years ago or 10 years ago? I thought
that was about 7 years ago.
Okay. Gotcha.
About 7 years ago. And kind of how I got lucky right off the bat with my business was I'd heard kind of through the grapevine, this, the other company that I was working for doing the mowing,
mm-hmm.
that for the last few years, they had thought about subbing out all their mowing and not having their own mow crew anymore.
Okay.
I really didn't, that had that's not the reason why I started my business or anything like that. But it just so happened that after I gave my notice and I quit, I started my own business. Well, they, a few months later, they were like, we're going to go ahead with this. Do you want to bid on this on all of our rentals?
Wow.
And so I'm like, yeah. I mean, I know these rentals. I've been mowing them for years and years and years. I know the properties. I know how long it takes to mow. Yeah, I'll bid on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For somebody just starting out and, if you don't really know how to bid and things like that, it can be real daunting. But since I already knew the time and what it takes to mow these properties, it was pretty easy for me. So I bid them, I got them, and that's how I got a really good start to my business.
Wow. Okay. So how did you decide to go all in with, the business? Because you had employees right out of the gate, right? I thought that was the story. Why? Okay. So can you just unpackage that a little bit more for us? Because dude, most guys, when they get started, my brain just like fried out, if you can tell, because I was like, I'm like, I was working at True Green. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go get me a lawnmower and doopy doo. And that's how most of us start. We get 5 lawns and 20 lawns. And then somebody's like, hey, can you do the aerations? Can you do the pruning? And
exactly,
you're like, sure. And then sometimes it translates to snow. And then before you know it, you look back and you're like, I've got 50 accounts or 100 accounts. But that's your story was like, nope, we're going right to the top, top notch.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like, it just kind of fell in my lap. I had the opportunity to bid on, like I said, at the time, it was like 200 rentals.
Jeez, oh, Pete's, dude. Now, is that like a condo association or like a around town, or how did that work?
So it was kind of, they were kind of split up. There was 4 office parks. There was, in one area they would have, 20 rentals. One area they would have, 30 rentals. You know what I mean? It was like
clusters.
It was all kind of in the same part of town. We really didn't have to drive a whole lot, but they were kind of grouped together in different groups. And probably one of the most famous ones that I've shown on YouTube a lot was there was 35 of them that we did. They were duplexes, 35 duplexes that we did in a row.
Wow.
So mowing that many properties, it's not like we did, 100 or 150 individual houses. They're kind of grouped together. So as it makes it a little bit easier. So,
well, how did you know how to price it, if you don't mind me asking? Like, because you said you were doing like the crew, like you were labor. I mean, whatever. But how did you know? Did they just come to you and say, hey, like we do this for $200,000, and if you want to bid it for around there, like you'll get it, or how did you approach that, if you don't mind me asking?
No, they didn't give me any kind of insight on pricing or anything like that.
Okay.
But like I said, I've been mowing these properties for a long time, so I knew how long they took.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And I knew how many people it would take to mow these properties for the time that I was wanting to get them done at.
Right. Okay.
And, by working with this other company and mowing these properties, we had 2-man crews, 3-man crews, 4-man crews throughout the years, so I kind of knew in my head what I thought would work the best. And literally I just kind of, I didn't really like guess, but it's kind of an educated guess. And,
sure.
And I got it pretty good. We made some, decent money those first few years. So
yeah. And this is like a 6-figure contract, right? It was pretty big.
Yeah. It was definitely over 100,000. So
yeah.
I mean, it was definitely like, like, boom, here you go, start your business. You know what I mean? It was definitely, it was good. I definitely learned a lot, the first few years, because I mean, I've said this many times in many videos that I had no idea, zero idea of how to actually run a business. And I can go cut lawns and do good, that part of it, because that's what I knew. But running a business, I didn't really know.
Sure.
But I had to learn fast, and it took me a long time to actually figure out what I know now, obviously.
Right.
That's what most people are, but you learn by your mistakes. But, that's kind of what I mean by having that other job and having security. I was able to learn from my mistakes and it not hurt my family as far as money wise.
Sure. How many days a week was the property? Was it like, because again, your typical work schedule was what, Friday, Saturday, Sundays? And I thought you were working like nights at one point.
Yeah, see, I've switched shifts quite a few times over the years, and kind of figuring out what works best for me. At that time, I'm trying to think here. I think I was on third shift at that time.
Yeah.
So basically, my schedule was I would go in at midnight, get off at 7 in the morning, and I would go mow, and then go to bed at 5 or 6 in the evening.
Wow! Holy cow, dude! That's a marathon, bro. And you were doing this for years, right?
Yeah. It's one of those things where, it got a little tiring there at times.
It's funny. It's funny when people see the bags under the eyes, when we do YouTube, and because were you doing YouTube just yet, or was that something that you kind of jumped on a little while after, or I forget when you jumped on, because I saw you kind of like in 2016. I don't know how long you were on YouTube by then.
Yeah, it was probably a year. Yeah, a year after I started my business that I started YouTube, I would say.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. Honestly, I can't 100% remember. I know it wasn't from the get-go. I do remember having, back in the original videos, the first videos, I had 2 part-time guys that work with me that were in the Air Force. And that's when a lot of people started watching. Those guys were funny.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a quick little story. It's kind of funny. Well, I started the YouTube channel, and I remember we were sitting in the truck and we were talking, and I was, I'd put up like maybe 5 videos, and I had like, I don't know, 40 subscribers or something. It was just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm doing a lot better than I thought I was. 40, I was happy. I was like 40 subscribers. Oh my gosh.
I feel you.
And anyway, one of the guys in the truck was like, hey, I watch a lot of YouTube, and a lot of these guys, when they hit a milestone in subscribers, they give away something. I was like, oh really? I was like, okay. So they were like, you should do like 100 subscriber giveaway, like a t-shirt or something. I was like, okay, you know what? I think I'll do that.
Yeah.
So, I hit 100, and I was like, well, I guess I'm going to contact this guy. And I read the name of the YouTube channel, and I heard them both like snicker at me. And I was like, what's so funny? Well, it was Zach. Zach was one of my guys at that time. He had waited so he could be the 100th subscriber.
Oh my God. He's trying to snake a free shirt, man. Another crew shirt,
He did. It was so funny.
Well played.
He played me.
That's fun. My employee Rob, he's 20. He watches like my videos sometimes, and he like he skips through and he gives me pointers because he watches like the David Dobrik's and the younger guys, and he's like, dude, did you see this one? I'm like, no, what's he doing? And he's like, he's got 1 million subs. I'm like, well, I'm not there yet, and but he keeps me sharp, but dude, that's funny, bro. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: why did you? I know we're gonna kind of jump around a little bit, but I know I know a lot of the guys that are listening in. They've watched your videos, bro. Like I keep telling people, like I had B&B on the show last week, and I said, Blake, like I'm your biggest fan. He's like, shut up, dude, and but I'm like, no, dude, like I grew up watching. It was Brian Top Notch, B&B Lawn Care, and Keith Kalfas, man, like 2016, 2017, and so what got you? So did you just continue to grow the YouTube channel as the lawn care business grew? Did you just want to like kind of document your life, as people say? Was it a way to make some extra money? I know we have talked about that you can make a couple bucks doing YouTube. So, you're trying to take care of your family and do all this stuff at once. What was the idea behind growing the YouTube channel? Because you got 75,000 subs, bro. That doesn't happen by accident,
Yeah, honestly, money didn't really play a part in it at the beginning.
Sure.
I was just having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had done family videos before, just kind of messing around on the computer with Windows Movie Maker. And, I really liked it, doing family videos and things like that. So when I started researching business and lawn care and stuff on YouTube, obviously I found Greg. Greg was kind of the it thing at that time. He was just,
killing
really easy to listen to and, all that type of stuff. And Shain Spencer was on YouTube at that time.
Yep.
Keith, obviously, Blake, Although Blake didn't talk a whole lot in his early videos. He had a little shy bug.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I tease him about that every once in a while. But,
yep.
But anyway, and I was like, hey, I like doing this stuff. So I made a couple videos and I liked it. It was fun. So we made some more and it was fun. And, and it just kind of grew from there. And I was like, this is fun. And then, obviously then, money kind of starts not being a factor, but you start kind of getting paid a little bit and you're like, oh crap, I didn't know I could get paid.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean?
I remember my first time hanging out with Jason Ambro, and he was like, dude, I made $120 doing YouTube. And I'm like, $120? If Jason Ambro or Kevin Fall River, you ever press them, like we were all in a hotel room, we were just hanging out for 10 minutes before we went to this Echo event. And Jason, I mean, he had like 5,000 subscribers. He was like such a big dog. Yeah. And Kevin's like, you made $120? And I was like, yeah, dude, well, I made $40. And Kevin was like, well, I made 22. And then he got all pissed. And he's like, well, that's what we started to learn, like how the money works on YouTube. Like it goes by views and CPM. And we're like, dude, we're so stupid. We have no idea, But I started looking at the numbers and I was like, dude, if you do this times that, I'm like, wow, like maybe some of these people make $80,000 a day, and that's not that's not how it works. But that's how Jason Ambro and Kevin Fall River, like that's how we all thought back in the day. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, so you were making these videos because they're fun, dude. I loved watching your videos, bro. You're always vlogging about your day, like.
It was fun. It was fun. The guys I worked with, we had a good time together. That's what made it kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of those things. And, I have kind of an addictive personality. So, when I start something new and I like it and I'm having fun with it, I get addicted to it. And YouTube was that for me. So once I figured out that, hey, this could actually be something, then I just started researching on YouTube, basically on YouTube about YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
how to do YouTube.
I spent countless hours, how to tag, how to do this and how to do this and just listening to other people. And, some of that advice kind of sunk in and things just started kind of working out. And, and it was just kind of downhill from there. So
wow. Well, dude, I mean, you were doing videos back in the day, and I had like, I don't know, dude, like 250 subs. I mean, you had 17, 18, 20,000 for sure. And I was like, dude, one day I'll get to there, and I was lying to myself. I'm like, dude, my goal was to get to 1,000 subs, like straight up. And it's just so funny how like you look back on things, and I was such a newbie. I'm still such a newbie, but you would publish a video and it gets like 12,000 views in like 24 hours, and I'd publish a video and get like 12 views in 24 hours. And I was like, that's
now it's flipped. Now it's flipped.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess, but I mean, well, that's because you took 3 or 4 months off, and then you take 3 or 4 months off, and I'm like, you take time off and you still like get millions of views. And I'm like, I got to post, 20 times a month to still pull in any. Dude, it's funny. You're so humble, because before we hit record, I said, I go, dude, you have the likability factor. Like, you're likable. I said, my only claim to fame is I'll outwork you, because I'm not likable. Like, a lot of people think I'm like a know-it-all, or I like hearing myself talk. And you guys are probably listening to this going, man, he sure does talk a lot. But but dude, you're likable. I love just coming home and watching your day. I don't know, it's so addictive. You and Greg.
That's seriously debatable, because I've gotten plenty of heat over the years.
No.
Plenty of people despise me, but that just kind of comes with the territory. But one thing I will say, especially in the last couple of years, my kind of motivation has kind of dwindled as far as the YouTube goes. Everybody's seen it. We've talked about it before off camera, or
off the record, by
ourselves and all that kind of stuff. But to see what you've done and sticking with the motivation and just being driven is really, really inspirable.
Well, thanks, dude.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, I always tell people, like, I'm on borrowed time. I'm on the shoulders of giants, bro. Like, it was B&B and Top Notch and Keith and I didn't really honestly get to watch a lot of Greg. I got about maybe 6 months of Greg under my belt, which is a lot, because Greg he was the man, and then he went in a different direction and went meteoric with a couple other things that came onto his radar, which was good for him. And so when he was out of the picture, I remember his last video. It was like, hey, you need to go subscribe to these 2 channels. And I don't know if you remember this video, but it was Keith Kalfas and Top Notch. And I think Keith might have had, I don't know if he had more than you or less than you. One of you had 25,000, one of you had 17,000, whatever. And I just remember, like, a lot of folks headed your guys' way, and I just really enjoyed watching your videos. Like for me back in the day, and we all ooze over equipment, right? But you were using walker mowers, right?
Yes.
Yep. So you were the yellow ones. You were using the walker mowers and a lot of steel equipment and Green Touch, and I'm like, we don't have these brands where I live, and it was so cool because I'm like, I only know Exmark. I mean, literally, guys, my worldview was so small, and I didn't know other brands exist. I didn't know Ferris. I didn't even know Skag. I mean, I was literally 30 years old, but I feel like I was like 17 on planet Earth, like mentally, and but I loved watching your channel. It's
still funny to me, like, when I first kind of started YouTube and really started, kind of pumping out the videos, 3 or 4 videos a week or whatever.
Yeah.
I was amazed at how many people didn't know what a walker mower was.
Right.
Like, literally, I mean, I got countless comments going, what kind of mower is that?
What is this thing?
And, but around here, I mean, that's all you see. And even back then, I mean, 10, 15 years ago, I mean, they were really popular around here.
Wow.
So, that's just, you just don't see very many lawn care guys around here that doesn't have at least one on their trailer.
No kid, bro. That's what's up.
It's just the way it is. So when I was getting those comments, I was like, where are these people at?
Well,
I was like, to me, it was common knowledge. You know what I mean? But I kept getting comment after comment after comment about what kind of mower is that, and secondly, why are you using that? So,
right. Up here in Michigan, we got like our zero turns, and it's a lot of Exmark. And dude, you ain't kidding. I'm like, he's sitting on it, but he's like kind of like leaning over with 2 little handles. If you guys have ever seen a walker, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, and he's bagging. I'm like, where does he dump the clippings? It was. You might as well tell me like the earth was flat. You know what I mean? I was like,
for real.
I was like, who is this guy? And again, you were likable. So I'm watching, and the more, I will say, like, in 2016, 2017, it was all like Casey Neistat. Right. And so you were like, you and Blake and Keith were like these lawn care guys. And then Casey Neistat was like vlogging, and he made like, having a DSLR cool. And so you like, kind of had this like combination of both, because you had these GoPros that you would mount on the fence, or you'd mount like on a white PVC pole, I remember, and all these dude, I'm not kidding, man, I don't forget a thing. And you have these cool time lapse, and like you were like the first one to like shift the camera around, like you would like mow the front lawn and then swoop around the side of the house, but you would see you coming around the side of the house. I'm like, he had to have put a camera there. Like, that's impossible. Like, and we all laugh at it now because it sounds so stupid, but like, we're just all like a bunch of dorks, you know what I mean? But it was so fun to watch. And then all of your guys, what was the guy that started with the letter A?
Alvaro.
Alvaro. I was watching him during that time frame, and see, I watched all the vlogs, bro. I'm not kidding. This isn't lip service,
I'm actually impressed.
I watched all the videos, bro. It was you, Keith. It was Blake with Cut and Clean with Andy, and I was like, I'm like, man, these guys in Kansas, they got it figured out, bro. And then I was like this dingbat Michigan guy, and using like Red Max, and people were like, what's a Red Max? Because everybody was wearing Rock and Steel and Echo, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? How do you not know Red Max? It's like Red Max is the whip, you know? And so anyway, well, let's do this. I'm going to catch our breath really quick here. We're going to hear from, just kind of change it up for a quick second. We're going to hear from our show sponsors. And then I want to get back into talking about like where your business is at today. Because I like I said, I know you kind of downsized, you right size, and I know you're exceedingly more happier because of it. And then also get to hear a little bit more about the YouTube channel and where you're at today. I know you were, like you said, taking a break, but you got some big things in store. So I want to kind of break both of those down and kind of hear a little bit more what you got going on for the, I don't know, the Top Notch 2.0. Can we call it that? We'll see.
Oh yeah. That actually sounds pretty good.
I like it, bro. All right, well, let's do this. Let's hear from our show sponsors, and then we'll come right back on into it.
At Exmark, we've poured decades of leading-edge engineering and old-fashioned work ethic into our Laser Z, the pioneering commercial zero-turn rider more landscape pros trust. So now you can experience cut quality, performance, comfort, durability, and reliability beyond your wildest dreams. Stop by your local dealer or visit exmark.com to experience an Exmark Laser Z and the attractive financing offers available now.
Hey guys, we're going to jump in here for just a quick second. We're going to change it up here from this great podcast we're doing about growing your equipment setup. I wanted to take a quick second and talk about some of the reviews that came in just this week from you guys. So without further ado, let's check it out.
Ratings and reviews. Each week, we take a minute to highlight your guys' reviews of the show.
Absolutely, we're going to highlight your guys' reviews of the show. You guys take the time to write these great ratings and reviews out, so I want to make sure that we cover them for you guys. By the way, if you guys want to hear your rating or review read live on the show, just like this, leave us a 5-star rating, leave us a couple sentence review. I promise to read yours live on air. Of course, we only accept 5 stars. You guys know how it goes, so don't give us any of that 3 or 1 star, negative nonsense. We're all about positivity here, and we're all about taking it to the front. So let's talk about Richard 187. He says, by far one of the best lawn care and entrepreneur podcasts I've found yet. Brian puts it all out there and doesn't hold out on his information. Truly wants to see everyone succeed. 5 stars. One of the best. Hey, Richard, right back at you, brother. Appreciate the kind words. Really, really helpful there. And absolutely, I hide nothing. All my best content, we literally give it away for free. Next one, it says, love it. This is from All American 13088. Great podcast. Excellent content. Always seems to cover some of the things that come up with me around the same time. It's been amazing to have someone putting out content out there that is applicable across the industry and has helped me out when I didn't know the right answer or approach. Well, you know what? It's funny. The reason I'm able to put out timely content is because I'm doing the exact same thing you guys are. So when you guys are complaining about the heat, I'm complaining about the heat. When you guys are trying to gear up for leaf cleanups and snow removal, Lord knows that I'm getting my bagger out and doing the same thing with the plow. And you know what? Anytime I get those interesting, those type thoughts, and I go, you know what, I just figured something out or found something out, or you know what, I bet this is kind of a pain point or a bottleneck or a struggle for some people. Let's bust the camera out. Let's do a quick video. Let's do a vlog. Let's do a how-to and maybe try to help you guys out paying those thoughts forward, because I know that if I have these same thoughts, I know that you guys are as well. So thank you so much to All American. We appreciate your review. And the last one here that we got this week was from Chris with Elite Lawn Care. It says, great info. Thanks for developing a great podcast. Excellent guests, tons of information on not only how to launch and grow your business, but not to be afraid to tackle the hard subjects like debt, mindset, on winning, and just believing in yourself. Well, absolutely, Chris. Right back at you, man. Thank you so much for the kind words. You know what we do? We try to help you guys out with content that's applicable, content that is helpful, content that is relatable. It's stuff that, honestly, you can listen to today and apply in your business tomorrow. I mean, that's the goal of this podcast, is to give you guys practical, real-world information, not only from myself that I've accumulated over the years, but from all the great guests that we have on the show. As I say, as kumbaya as it sounds, we're all in this together, and anything I can do to help you guys grow, we're an open book. So thank you so much to all of you guys that have left these ratings. And if you guys want to hear your review on next week's show, be sure to leave us, especially on iTunes. If you're an iTunes user, that's mostly where you can leave the reviews. We really do appreciate it. It does help the algorithm gods. Help me appease the gods. Help me make the sacrifices. Help me with the reviews. And again, if this show has helped you out in any capacity, the only thing I ask for is partnership with you guys helping to promote it. Share it with a friend, share it with a lawn bro, share it with your wife, share it with your girlfriend. The stuff is not applicable to just lawn care. So yeah, the tagline is lawns, lessons, and life. But as you guys know, if I can help you have the best life with all these different lessons, we're going to tackle the lawn care thing along the way. But let's have a successful life. And if we do that, everything else will fall into play.
Want us to read your review next? Let us know how we're doing, and we might just read your review on next week's show.
And of course, remember to share Fullerton Unfiltered with somebody that you think would benefit from our content. Now, Brian continues speaking with Brian Shain of Top Notch Lawn Care.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks so much to Mr. Producer for handling all the show sponsors and all the fun stuff that you guys get to hear while we get to talk to all the guests and just really streamline our whole process. Something that we're trying a little bit different, something that's new, but I think it's going to be a great resource for us to help you guys get more content out there in the podcast universe. So, Brian, let's go back to you, dude. So you're talking about as we grow the YouTube channel, and also as you've kind of right-sized the business the last what would you say, like 18 months. You just what was your big concern, or what was going on? Because I know you were saying like, dude, we're doing all this work, but we're not really like making the money that we thought, and it was just a lot of stress and a lot of and headache. And I don't want to put words in your mouth either. You and I have talked candidly about where you're at, and I wasn't giving you any advice. We were just talking when we were down in Alabama once. Sure. So what kind of developed though over those 4 or 5 years? Did the business kind of run away and get bigger than you wanted to do, or what happened with wanting to downsize the business?
Yeah. So the business is growing and we're doing really good. And I decided to get a shop and kind of start growing the business. Well, it was a lot of different things that kind of went wrong. We ended up adding a couple more employees. Mm-hmm. We added some bigger properties to mow, and just all this type of stuff. Mm. And it just wasn't fun anymore. It wasn't making me happy anymore. And
sure,
and it was really hard because the first few years was easy for me because I had this big contract that paid really good, mm-hmm. and we were really good at doing the work. And now I didn't have the big contract that I originally had, so we're doing other things that I really wasn't 100% comfortable doing. Okay, but I wanted to keep trying to grow the business in any direction it was taking me. You know what I mean? Like, yep. Opportunities would pop up, and I would just jump on them without even really knowing what I'm getting myself into. And then next thing you know, we're just kind of running rampant all through the city and just doing all kinds of different things. And everything was just 100% chaos. Okay. And, it was a real struggle from the get go. There was never really a good point when I got the shop. And to touch on kind of, the stuff outside of lawn care, it affected my family life because I was never home at that point. So, yeah. So that added another, sense of struggle. And, just to be 100% honest, me and my wife, we kind of had some hard times during that period because, I'm sitting here talking, like, hey, I'm trying to grow the business. I'm trying to better our family. Mm-hmm. And she's on the other side just saying, hey, we just want to see you. Mm. We don't ever see you. Yep. Because now that you're in the shop, you're not getting home till 8, 9 o'clock at night. And, you get up at 6 a.m. and go straight to the shop again. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And, at that time I was just kind of, I had my blinders on. I didn't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to focus on the business.
Well, sometimes we get I was just going to be honest, man. Sometimes we get so focused that, we're so passionate about business or success. I've been guilty of it. I'm sure half you guys listening in, we've all been guilty of it where, our parents or our family don't show up on our calendar, or they show up a lot less, and yeah. I've been unbalanced before, for sure. I preach unbalanced because you can't do everything. There's no such thing as balancing everything, but my personal opinion, but I believe firmly in counterbalance. But if you don't counterbalance soon enough or regularly, like, you might lose out on things. And I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's wrong to be unbalanced for a little while, but don't be unbalanced for 6 months or a year, work hard, play hard, or work hard and then balance out. And dude, I appreciate the candid talk, that's real talk.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it just is what it is. And, I've never been one to really sugarcoat the business. It's a tough business.
Mm-hmm.
And even at that time, because I had it kind of easy in my first, I think it was 4 years that I had the big contract.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy. It was easy money. You know what I mean? We go mow, the properties that I've been mowing for years and years and years,
Mm-hmm. and
we made good money. Well, no, we didn't have that. So now we're kind of scattered all over the place, like I said, but then your expenses go up,
Mm-hmm.
Because you're scattered everywhere. Now you got 2 trucks. At one time, we had 3 vehicles running and 2 full crews running. I didn't really sit down and figure this out beforehand. The expense part of the business, and of course, we got money coming in, but it's going out just as fast. And then, my wife, I love her to death, and she was 100% right on this part, where she was like, okay. So you're doing all this stuff. You're gone 12, 13 hours a day, and we don't see you as much as we want to see you, but we're not seeing any benefit out of it.
Sure. That's,
you know what I mean?
That's real talk. Yeah,
it really is. And after she pounded me in the head 10, 20 times, saying the same thing, and here, the first 19 times she told me, I didn't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I finally, realized that, hey, she's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's right. Why am I killing myself here? Why am I working 13 to 14 hours a day and killing myself for nothing?
Wow.
For nothing.
Yeah.
So literally we sat down and I said, okay, here's what I want to do. I don't want to give up on my business. I like doing this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It does provide an extra income whenever I do it correctly. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move back home, move the shop back home. I'm going to get rid of my shop,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to downsize the business. I'm tired of all the running around. I'm tired of, putting 70,000 miles on a vehicle a year. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's just ridiculous. So,
Mm-hmm.
So we downsized the business, and we started to listen to some of the people in this industry, like yourself, by the way, that have been doing it for a long period of time. And the consensus I got was, hey, you have to have a target market. That was kind of foreign to me. I didn't know. I don't know what that means. I talked to Mike Andes about this. I talked to the Lawn Care Millionaire about this, and they were saying, you have to have a target market to where this is where you want to service.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a 100-mile radius service doing lawn care unless you're just a huge, huge company. You know what I mean? So you got to have boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
so once I sat down and I actually, started to realize, okay, this is where we make our most money at. This is where we're profitable at. If we go out in this range, we're not really that profitable. Okay, well, makes sense. Let's just stick to right here then.
Wow.
Let's try to grow our business in this little city right here of 25,000 people. And then I started looking into the numbers of the actual city as far as the income in the cities. So if you're working in a city where it's just it's not a city that has a lot of extra money,
mm-hmm.
you're probably not going to do very well.
Mm-hmm.
So this was all new to me. And I was like, this was like the light bulb going off in my head. Like, okay, well, now this makes sense, because now I have a city that I'm really close by that has money in the city. Because I did the research. The
mm-hmm.
average home price in that city is like $170,000.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a pretty good home where I live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That might not be much in some places of the country, but around here, that's a nice home. Well, people have nice homes. They want their lawn to look good.
Dude, no, you got to go where the money is.
You really do.
I mean, like I it's funny because I hear Lawn Care Business Success podcast, Julio, a lot of you guys know Julio Tomei, and he was, when he first got started in business, he had a franchise business, and he was on one side of town, and I think it's his brother or brother-in-law is on the other side of town. And they're in like the same city, but the franchise business was like, well, Julio, this is your route. And Julio didn't know any better. He's, he's a babe, he's new. And he goes, all right, sure. And basically like, nobody would get any other service besides mowing. And then his mowing, they wanted it bi-weekly. And he was like, yo, there's no money in this neck of the woods. And his brother-in-law, I think, is how the story goes, was like on the other side of town. And people like, oh, we want fertilizer and pruning and flowers and weekly mowing. And Julio like was just stuck. And he's like, yo, like this isn't working, bro. Like there's no money over here. And it's not an indictment on the people or the area. It's just,
no.
Look, dude, I grew up in a double wide trailer in a trailer park. Like, it was great for the first 8 weeks when the grass was growing and I'm making $15 in 15 minutes, doing a little trailer park lawn. But July, August, September, October, like, dude, nobody takes care of their property. And I was just like, yo, it's not an indictment. It's a different type of clientele. And you guys like,
it's just a fact.
Yeah. And of course you can go, well, it's a trailer park customer. What did you expect? Okay, fair enough. But look, come on. There's still lawns that I do in subdivisions that are $300,000-$400,000 grand, and they spend a certain amount of money per year. And then my friend Mike, he does a $1.5 million home, and they spend 4x that. I mean, it's just so there's no. I wouldn't say like go chase the money, but I would say like not all customers are created equal. And so I, can
it's not a fact of chasing the money really, but as a business, you have to know if you're going to be profitable or not.
Amen. Well,
it's just a fact. There's a reason why you don't see an Apple store out in the country, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just simple. They go where they know they're going to sell stuff at.
Yeah.
So if you're starting a service business, you can't start a service business in a town or a city that nobody wants that service.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah. Well, there's a young guy that listens to the show, Colton with BPM. A lot of you guys know Colton on Instagram. And he was saying the same thing because we did a coaching call, I don't know, like a year and a half ago. And he's getting his ducks in a row like 9 months in advance. And great kid, great wife. I think it's Brittany, him and Brittany. And he was like, yeah, dude, he goes, this is the 2 target markets. We're doing this coaching call. And I went on Google Earth because that's what I do. And I try to get in the thick with you guys and try to figure this stuff out. And he goes, these are the 2 neighborhoods I'm looking. And I'm looking up on, real estate websites and looking at home values and subdivisions and Google Earth. And I'm like, yeah, dude, these would be some really good targeted subs. And this is what you're looking for, like your bread and butter. Here's where the money is. And then 15 minutes west was like another town. So he's like, I'm going to do like my Monday, Tuesdays over here, my Wednesday, Thursdays over there. And I said, dude, that's a great option. He's like, I'm going to do my pruning on Friday, Saturday, and my landscape and, or whatever. And I said, that's super smart way to look at it, dude, can I ask you, like, a lot of guys, they want to, I say they need to hear this because you put out some information, I say probably like a year ago, like $200,000 and lost money or something like that. Do you remember that video?
Sure. It was,
well, you were like super honest, and it was kind of like not like a somber video, but you were like, look, dude, I got a level. Like it's not, I'm gonna say not as easy as you think. And again, like I super respect what you're doing and how you're doing it. And it's so cool to see you like, making all these changes and developments. I mean, dude, we're all in this together, guys. I don't have it all figured out any more than you guys do. Like we're all learning. Like I had 2 customers that canceled today, and I was so butthurt and pissed off. I was like, screw you. I was like, screw you guys. Like you guys don't even have good prices anyway. Like I'm replacing you with 4 where 2 went. One of those deals. But can you go back to like the story? So you had this contract, and then did the contract just not renew, or they found a different bidder, and then you were running a couple $100,000 a year, and just the expenses because you weren't paying attention to the details got away from you, and you just realized, dude, we ain't making any money. Is that in a sum up what you're saying?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I kind of touched on it a little bit ago. Like, we were just so scattered, and everything was just so hectic that I didn't have time to really pay attention to the books and the numbers like I should have. And, at that point in the business, we had our hand in everything. So, it kind of goes back to the target market. So at that time, what we were doing, if we had a house that was, way out, 15, 20 minutes away, we have no business cutting that lawn. But we would take that lawn in hopes of getting others. But now we're stuck cutting that lawn for the year. We're basically just losing money. And, at that time we were just kind of, just scatterbrained is the right word, because, we had a lot of different projects going on. We're mowing city properties, we're mowing commercial properties, we're mowing residential properties. We got all this stuff happening, and then people don't show up to work. You hire more people, and next thing you know, you're working 12-hour days and all this stuff.
Yep.
And, people don't realize that it can get away from you really, really fast. And if you're not paying attention and you don't have steps in place to ensure that you're paying attention to books, it can really get away from you fast. And that's what happened to me. And that was the whole point of, kind of like my wife, you're doing all this work, you're working 13 hours a day, but we're not seeing no benefit. That's because, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. And at the end of the day, at the end of the year, you sit back and you're actually going through the numbers, which you should have done 6 months ago, but you didn't do it because you were just so busy. Then you realize, okay, we made $175,000, or we grossed $175,000, but we only netted 20,000 or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What's the point?
Well, and that's the thing too, dude. Like, I just to be honest with you, like I had a candid conversation with Mike Gunn from Get It Done with Gunn, and we were talking about this. Like, yo, if you do 175,000, you make, I don't know, 75 grand, 100 grand. Like, kudos to you. But if not, like, we can't just get stuck being busy. I think that's something that we try to communicate a lot. And here's the thing too. And I say this in the most absolutely respectful fashion, but like you said, like we had a shop, we had the trucks, like we were making a bunch of noise, but like you said, noise doesn't equate to profit, and I mean, how many times do we have to hear guys on the show? And this is for you guys that are listening. Like, hopefully this stuff helps you guys out and just gives you the encouragement to put your business under the microscope. Bigger doesn't always mean better, and bigger doesn't always mean profit. I mean, I hear that stuff from Corey Ballard and Troy Clogg, and dude, honestly, like it's really cool to hear you realize that too. I mean, thank God you didn't do it for another decade, and then, your wife leave you or something stupid, unfortunate,
I mean, that was never, me and my wife, we've been together for 25 years, leaving each other never comes into the conversation.
Amen.
But
that's cool.
But you never know that, doing that to her and my family and my kids for another 10 years, I wouldn't have blamed her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's got to have a life too. And, she wants to spend part of that with me, and I'm not allowing that. So,
amen.
Amen. That was the real struggle. So,
dude, that's so, I so respect what you're saying, bro. Like, for real, like not lip service. Like, again, I always tell people, like, let's have real conversation, and there's times like, dude, I didn't see my wife for 2 years because I was doing YouTube and lawn care. And I mean, we kind of punched through, but I, dude, honestly, like I felt like I was on deployment, bro. Like I was not, and we laughed, but like success has a price, and she she was willing to pay it. I was willing to pay it, but I was like, yo, like this is going to take every ounce of fuel and focus to get the lawn care channel growing, to get the YouTube thing going, get the actual lawn care business growing. I mean, and so, dude, I you don't need any attaboys from me. I mean, like what do I, what do I say? What do I care? But like, from what my opinion is, but I'm just saying, like, I really respect the fact that you're figuring all this out, dude. Like, it's encouraging to see other people dialing it in at every level. I mean, I hope the podcast is making a difference. That's why we do this stuff. It's not just to entertain you guys while you're on the lawnmowers. Although we try to laugh and share these funny stories, but I don't want any pain or heartache out there. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, no. Take it away. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the same thing. I don't take great pride in myself sitting here telling these bad stories, but one thing I do hope is that people can learn, from other people. And that's the way I've always been. I like to hear people. I don't want to hear how great you have it. I want to hear the struggles you went through to get there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to hear, because that's the stuff that's going to help people.
Amen.
When people, I hate using the word fail, but when people, stumble or fall or whatever the case may be in their business, I want to know why they did that. I want to know how they got out of it, because I guarantee you, I'm probably going to, somewhere down the line, going to end up in the same shoes. So I want to leg up. So that's why I like telling these stories. And that's why I like sharing this kind of information. Just because, like I said, there's other people out there that I hope people aren't doing the same thing I did, but the facts are there probably is a couple.
Dude, straight up, bro. I appreciate it big time. I know these guys listening. If you guys do, shoot Brian a DM on Instagram, or, say hey to him whenever you guys see him next at some live event, and just let him know that this kind of episode and this podcast and this conversation helped you guys out. Cause dude, we try to just, cut through the crap, like we can talk about equipment all day, I think we did. Walker mowers, amazing, right? but I've always appreciated your transparency. You've always just been a really, again, honest, humble, easy to listen to, likable dude. And I feel like you make a big impact on people's lives. And so I'm glad that you're still here, still around, and, want to do this kind of content. Well, let me ask you this. So where are you guys at now today? I guess that's an easy, parlay, maybe for the last 10 minutes here. If you want to take it away, where are you at today with the business? Are you guys niching down? Are you more focused on your profit? And then, what can we expect about the lawn care YouTube channel? Cause dude, you do have a huge base, and I know when you hit publish, you do get 12,000 views again in 24 hours, man. So it's like the people in the background are like, Brian, you know what I mean? So take it away. Where are you at now today? And, is there like a 2.0 coming? Come on, give me the good stuff.
Oh yeah. So, as far as the business goes right now, I'm in the happiest place I've ever been, business wise.
Awesome.
I've moved back to the house. I have my shop in the backyard now, and it's just me and one employee. And we have our target market. I don't drive no farther than 10 minutes away from my house anymore at all. So that has really made a huge, huge difference. We can get so much more done in the same amount of time. And it's been a real eye opener for me. And, obviously we're doing the weekly mowing. We're doing all that. That's probably never going to go away. That's kind of our bread and butter, and it has been for a long time. But we've started kind of doing some more landscape jobs. We want to get in to do more landscaping. Okay. And we've had a couple jobs this year that we've never done before. We did a paver walkway for a customer that turned out really, really great. And we're just kind of getting out of our own way a little bit, if you will, kind of trying new things. And last year we started doing the irrigation, which was really scary because I didn't know a whole lot about irrigation, but I learned really quick. I got really, kind of like we talked about earlier, addicted. I got addicted to the irrigation, and I did tons and tons of research, and I got certified and all that stuff. And this is our second year doing the irrigation.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
We've had really good success this year. We've had a lot of calls. Most of our calls are just on referrals, because a lot of these irrigation companies around here, they do a really good job, but they're just so busy that they're 3 weeks out. You know what I mean? So, but they're a bigger company. They do a lot of installs. They do all kinds of different things. And, we're just focusing on repairs. Wow. And turn-ons and blowouts and things like that, the smaller stuff. And the one thing I realized last year, and it's really kind of taking a hold this year with the irrigation, is, I don't need a $10,000 mower to go service an irrigation system. I
was just going to say that, bro. You don't have to haul a trailer around even if you want, I don't, and that's what we do. We can get all of our mowing done in about 2.5 days. We park the trailer, we take the truck, and we go do irrigation. You know what I mean? So, it's I love it. I really do. And, I'm so excited for you, bro. Like, I was just listening today to Stan Dirt Monkey and Greg Whitstock, the pond guy. They did an interview, and it was really, really good and insightful. And Greg was saying like irrigation is one of the top per dollar per man hour services in our industry. And don't quote me. I think it was like $51 or $55 per man hour. And I was like, man, I always need a good irrigation guy where I live. Like sometimes I got my friend Mike who bails me out on like my startups, my blowouts, but. If I lop off a sprinkler head, I'm like, man, who's gonna fix that? Like, I'm not having Bedell come out for $75. I'm like, I just need some guy that's like, 5 minutes away and can just do it for $30. And Bedell would do it. He's probably listening. He's like, dude, I do it. And but I'm like, and I know how to do it too, but I just don't want to get all the parts and invest. But tell you what, man, after today, I lost 2 customers, and it was just like, it was kind of like a nasty letting them go, and it wasn't bad, but I was just like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I will change my business model. Maybe we'll go down to mowing 2-3 days a week and landscape Thursday, Friday, irrigation, all the little extra BS. Because, you can make a lot of money, dude. Like you said, you ain't hauling no $12,000 lawnmower around in a, $4,000, $10,000 trailer. And
well, that's the thing is like, I quickly realized that, I can go spend 3 hours at a customer's property doing irrigation and make the same as I would mowing all day.
Straight up.
And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't use any big equipment to do this irrigation.
Yeah,
it's just me kind of getting muddy and kind of knowing what to do.
Yeah. No flat tires.
Exactly. No flat tires. I mean, obviously, irrigation, you have other, little problems that come up, but
sure,
there's nothing that, it's just a different world, in my opinion. And just like with any service that you provide, if you do a good job, you get recommended. And this year, we've had, a ton of referrals. Like the neighbor of a neighbor of a neighbor. There's one little section of the city that we provide that we've ended up doing work for like 4 houses in a row, just because we started at one, and the other one had a problem, then. They talk, and then the other one talks, and then next thing you know, you're doing half the block.
That's awesome, dude.
And it's just awesome. It's just it just kind of opened my eyes a little bit, and it's something I really want to kind of expand on. And eventually, I'd like to get into doing installs, and I'm going to be doing an install at my house.
Nice.
Here in a couple weeks.
You're going to YouTube it or what?
Yes, I am. I will. And speaking of the YouTube, you kind of asked me to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Top Notch 2.0. So basically what I kind of plan on doing now, I did make a video a couple weeks ago talking about, the lawn care vlogs and all that type of stuff, and how I'm just kind of getting bored with that. And I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. And so we're gonna kind of dive into the homeowner, kind of like the dad DIY type channel, and just do obviously we're gonna talk about irrigation a lot. We're gonna talk about just home repairs. Anything you can think of that happens to normal everyday men and women. We're gonna dive into it, and kind of the theme of the channel is going to be, we're going to learn together. And because I'm not a pro at hardly anything, you know what I mean? So, I like making videos of, stuff that I've never done before. I like doing that type of stuff and kind of learning on the spot and, making mistakes on camera and letting people learn from my mistakes. I think that's very valuable.
Yeah. Dude, that's pumped up, dude. I'm excited to see that. So are you going to do like more homeowner stuff, I think you're even saying, or? Yeah.
So basically, I know a lot of guys might not like this, but I want to show the guy that has a house. I want to show him how to change a hen out if he needs to, and not have to call me. It's kind of counterintuitive, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's plenty of those channels out there, but I'm going to dive into that because that's something that I enjoy. I'm wanting to do something different because, like I said, I'm kind of burnt out on doing the same type of video for 5 years in a row. It just kind of weighs on you. And, and when you mow the same properties every single week, you're like, how can I show this property again? And what else am I going to say about it? I've already said everything I want to say.
Well, dude, I mean, I'm in the same boat, bro. I mean, I cut the same, 100 properties a week, and I think everybody's seen about 80 out of the 100, and I'm not making a vlog just to make a vlog. If I can't add value, we're not shooting a video just to shoot a video, just to get views. Like I'm so beyond that. Like I've actually posted so much less. People are like, you still like making vlogs regularly? I go, yeah. Like when I make them, there's good stuff in them, but like I'm not, I'd rather do a podcast and like talk to other business owners about their struggles, their pains, than to just make a stupid moan vlog, and if somebody wants to make a moan vlog, God bless them, but like I'm not chasing the views. I'd rather chase the impact. And by the way, what you're saying right now is super exciting to me, dude, because we're going to be homeowners. We got to build something. So I'm going to watch Top Notch no matter what, bro, because you're just a likable, fun dude. You are always really good at telling a story. And it's like I live vicariously through you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so I'm excited about this new venture that you're going to go down this path. And you know what, dude? You have probably 700, 500 videos out there anyway. So if people do want to learn the business, they can learn both. You can cater to both. And I know you're still doing some mowing anyway. So I feel like the more excited and passionate you get about the new stuff, then maybe that'll trickle back into YouTube and revitalize things,
Yeah, I think you're right. And I've kind of thought that myself. Like, taking a break for me on YouTube has always been kind of a good thing because I just get burnt out on stuff. So,
amen.
And after a few months go by, you kind of get rejuvenated, but I just want to try something different.
I want to
try something different. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I really don't care.
Amen.
But like over the years, it's so funny, like how much flack I've gotten over the years. I know you've gotten the same stuff. Well, if you would put as much attention into your business as you do YouTube, blah, blah, blah. You know how that saying goes.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, it's never really been about that. It's about, if I'm not having fun doing it and I don't want to do it, I'm just not going to do it.
Yep.
Flat out. Like the money is decent and it's nice, and, extra money and all that kind of stuff. But obviously that's not what drives me. Money doesn't drive me. It really doesn't.
Yep.
I'm not rich by no means, but I can go get a meal at McDonald's whenever I want. So that's basically where I'm at in my life. So
you get the super size.
To me, it's about enjoying what you're doing, having fun, and if you're lucky enough to make money on top of that, then you're in a good spot.
Amen. Well, dude, I mean, like people are like, well, why don't you focus more on your business instead of YouTube? I'm like, whoa. I'm like, y'all focus on sports. I focus on YouTube. Like we both put in the ante of like working our business, but I'm like, I don't take anything extra away from my business to go not grow it, to grow YouTube. I'm like, come on, let's not go from one ditch to the other. I mean, you guys know who's in the World Series and the Super Bowl, and you guys know how many quarters are in baseball. You know what I mean? I'm just having fun, but like I don't know anything about sports. You guys watch sports, man. Some of you hunt. YouTube, like you said, YouTube's like my outlet, my hobby, and And frankly, I get passionate about entrepreneurship and the toys. Like I'm buying a 4-wheeler, and I'm sure somebody's going to go, well, what's a 4-wheeler have to do with, lawn care? I don't know, but I just like it. I like having fun. I'm not saying I'm changing the whole channel, but it's like, I mean, how many more Stripe videos can we do? And unless I have, this huge bankroll to do video podcasting like a Joe Rogan, like a Patrick Bet David with Valuetainment. Well, until then, it's just going to be an audio podcast. I mean, we got to, work within our means, but dude, we'll just button up here, dude. I mean, I'll tell you straight up. Like, I've always loved watching your content. I've always respected you. I mean, I remember GIE 2017. I think it was. I went down. I met you over at the Skag booth with Kevin Fall River Wednesday evening, and you're like, "Hey, Brian's on maintenance." I'm like, "He knows my name. He knows my name." Like I was like, "Liz, he knows my name," and she's like, "You were right in front of me," and it was really socially awkward. Liz is like, "He's right here." I go, "He knows my name," and because I mean, dude, you were larger than life. I mean, this isn't lip service, and you're still larger than life, bro. I mean, anytime I get to talk to you and a bunch of other guys, like I don't take it for granted that I have that guy's cell phone number, or that guy will pick up the phone, or he'll even respond with a text. I mean, and I know I'm not the most likable guy, I'll admit, but I know you are. And so any which way, I really just say all this just to say thanks for taking the time to be on the show and pour back into these guys a little bit. I mean, a lot of these guys, they're in the, year 1, year 2, and they live on this kind of content, and so I just appreciate you taking time out of your evening to make time for our show, bro. I really do.
Yeah, I appreciate you wanting to have me on. I know it's been, like I said, like 6 months since you first asked me, but I really enjoy it, and you're one of the guys that be 100% honest that I look up to right now, because I love your work ethic and I love what you're doing. I love how you got your hands in a lot of different things, and you're just trying to make an impact on people and help people out. So that I really inspired to be, and a lot of guys are lucky to be able to listen to you.
Well, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Well, we just pretend like we know what we're doing. So don't we don't have it figured out any more than you guys do, So
that's all I've ever done. I just pretend. I'm thinking until I make it.
I love it, dude. I love it. Well, no, this has been good, man. I try to end the podcast with kind of like an open mic. So is there anything that you want to leave these guys? Maybe one last nugget or pearl of wisdom while we're here. But and if not, we'll button it up, man, and we'll shut this thing down. So.
The only thing I would tell people, and I try to tell people this all the time, because it's something that I wish I would have learned from the get-go, is know your numbers. I heard Johnny Moe say that for years and years and years.
Yep.
And I straight ignored him. I really did. I didn't listen to what he was saying. But if I would have had that advice, or if I would have listened to that advice and taken that advice 5 years ago and actually paid attention to the numbers in my business, I have no idea where I'd be right now, but I'd be, a lot better off than I am right now, just because, I would have got a head start. It took me 5 years to figure that out. Wow. It really did. So, if you can just know your numbers in your business and price things while knowing your numbers, then you're going to be in good shape.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, we did a podcast episode. I think it was like 87 or 88. It was just a few episodes back with John Pajak and Mike Bedell. And the title is "What Does Knowing Your Numbers Actually Mean?" And we broke that down for an hour. And those two guys, incredibly smart. I mean, just really, really talented dudes. And I was just, listening to those two talk back and forth, and I'm taking, notes in my brain and on my phone. I'm like, all right, I got to do this, I got to do that, because I'm still dialing it in. Great point, great advice, dude. Where can people find you? Can you plug your stuff really quick so people know where to find you?
Sure. YouTube is Top Notch Lawn Care. Same on Instagram. That's where I'm at.
All right, dude. I love it. Well, hey, this is another episode of Fullerton Unfiltered. Guys, thank you so much for you guys listening in and staying with us this whole time. And by the way, a lot of the ratings and reviews that have been coming in lately, we super appreciate it. But hey, Brian, like straight up, bro, thanks so much for, I am going to hold you to it. Like we said, it took 6 months, but I'm that guy. I don't forget a thing. And I was like, man, I can't wait to catch up with my boy. So it's so cool to have you on the show, dude. Thank you sincerely for taking the time and joining with us this evening.
I appreciate the opportunity. I really do.
You bet, guys. All right. Well, we're over and out here with this episode of Fullerton Unfiltered. We'll kick it back over to Mr. Producer, and we're over and out.
Thank you, Brian. And let me say I'm absolutely thrilled for the opportunity to work on your show. People will still hear me on some other podcasts, but what a blessing to connect with you and the team at Fullerton Unfiltered and to help get this info out to all of our friends in the lawn care community. That's something that has really impressed me, this special, close-knit family environment, how everybody is just so encouraging and willing to help each other out. One way you can help us is to support our sponsors. Today's show brought to you by Xmark, and look for another show to drop in just a couple of days.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.